Marriage is the best. A lot of changes have occurred in the last week, and it's been exciting to welcome a new little baby into our lives. We had number 6 on Tuesday, March 10th, and it was a crazy ordeal to get her into the world. Pregnancy is such an long process, and there's so much that goes into it. Becca, being the trooper that she is, has done it many times. In fact, while we were in the hospital this last week, we counted up all of the amounts of time that she has spent pregnant. And I believe that it's been, out of the 11 years that we have been married, she has been pregnant more than 8 years. We weren't sure exactly down to the month, how many years and months she's been married or pregnant, but we did find that to be kind of a remarkable figure. And it just goes to show how wonderful and committed and incredible Rebecca is. What a blessing that she is to me, and a blessing to these kiddos, and honestly, a blessing to future generations, because she has, within her womb, created these 6 incredible people to learn and to grow and to develop. And I think that that's going to be just an incredible gift. Now, obviously, not all kids turn out in like beautiful, incredible, wonderful ways. They're just people. But ultimately, we need really wonderful children to become great adults, to make changes to the world and to impact the world. And I see Becca as an agent of that change that's going to happen in the world because of her willingness and commitment to our family, to having these beautiful kids, to raising them, to loving them, to disciplining them, to, going through all of the necessary pain that is involved in bringing a baby into the world. It's a remarkable and beautiful thing. And I'm very grateful to have a wife, to be married to and connected to and partnered with a woman who wanted to do that with her life. It's interesting. Over the years, I have probably asked Becca every year that we've been married if she wants to go back and get her master's degree. She doesn't. She's like, I have a child. What do you mean? Why would I do that when you're doing that and I have a child? And then the second year, it's like, I have 2 children, 2 babies, and I don't think that that's going to be what I want to do with my time in life. The 3rd year, same thing. The 4th year, we had a little gap. 5th year, I just had a baby. 6th year, 7th year, 8th year, lots of turmoil in the medical stuff. We'll get to that eventually. And now here we sit in the midst of our 11th year. And I asked her actually just recently if she ever thought that would be something that after we're done in the season of disruption, after we're done with this disruptive season, if she wants to go back or maybe at the tail end of it so that she could kind of jump into some work. And she doesn't express a desire currently to go work a career, to go, go to work a job. And it's one thing that I've actually really appreciated about her, and it's stayed very consistent over time. She's always been very dedicated to her craft of mothering, of being pregnant, of nursing, of raising the girls. I believe that this is a rare thing among people, maybe among women. I don't really know. But I feel as though it is a rare thing that I have in my wife, that she is so dedicated and so committed to these incredibly valuable things. Having babies has always been an adventure. It's an adventure that Becca and I knew that we wanted early on and that we were going to be really open-handed in. If you've listened to any of the first couple of years of our marriage, I think we've done the first 4 so far. You kind of know that we were open-handed in the sense that we were going to let God kind of dictate to us through the natural way of getting pregnant and through the natural order of cycles. We were going to kind of be open-handed with our childbearing and rearing years. I've always kind of wanted to have a big family, and Becca comes from a smallish family. There's only 4 kids in her family, but she also was very passionate about being open-handed in the way that we approached having babies. And that says a lot about her, probably more about her than it does about me, because it's her body and it's her sacrifice in her body. And it's her, she's making so much more of those little sacrifices day to day in order to have the kiddos. And so when we had our first one, it was kind of a chaotic season of stress and intensity. She struggled for the first time ever. She had struggled with some postpartum, or some depression. Postpartum, obviously, would be the first time that she'd done that, but she experienced some depression for the first time ever. And depression was something that was very foreign to her. She had never experienced anything like that growing up, always having been a very happy, go lucky, positive kind of a person. And obviously I didn't know her during that season, but from what I've heard from both her parents, her friends, her sisters, she was just a friendly, warm, inviting young person. And she grew into a very friendly, warm, inviting teenager, even though I'm sure she had quite a bit of spunk on her. And then she was an incredibly inviting and warm and beautiful kind of college age student, which is kind of where I got to know her. And then we had a baby, and it was interrupting her college experience. And I actually think she had one assignment after we had our first baby, which was kind of crazy, to finish up her bachelor's. And we got to a point where she no longer could kind of express herself in that way because of hormonally so much had changed. Her parents were going through some awful stuff. If you want to hear more about that, you can check out year 1. But there was just, her whole world got thrown into kind of a tsunami-like change where everything basically got wiped out in her life. And on top of that, she was young and a mom, and we were trying to figure out marriage. And it was a difficult transition having that first child. We knew nothing. We were quite immature. We were kind of in this weird honeymoon disruption, disillusionment phase of our marriage. But we had gotten some really good advice to be sustainable, to date and to pursue one another and to engage and connect. So we did a lot of talking, and we did a lot of conflict, and we did a lot of dating. And through all of the conversations and the dating and through all of the conflict, we were able to remain friends and increase our friendship and our fondness for one another through dating and through talking and through committing and recommitting on a kind of a daily basis to serving and loving one another. Just last week, we talked about sacrifice and how sustainability and sacrifice are basically the ultimate phase of a marriage. If you're going to have a marriage that lasts, you're going to be sacrificing, and you're going to need a system that is sustainable for you. So it was really difficult bringing that first child into the world, and we knew so little. It's remarkable that we were old enough and biologically, at the season that we could even have a baby. But we did. It was a difficult transition. Second baby, a little bit easier. We found that as the babies came, we actually, because we were growing and learning and changing and committed, and our teamwork was building itself, we actually found that having 2 was easier than just having the 1. Number 3 came, threw a big wrench in the plan with just kind of her GI stuff and some difficulty in that. So it created like this big 6-month long season where, as an infant, she was in pain. She was not eating well. And number 3 was just created a lot of disruption in our sleep and other categories. So that was really difficult. So we had to kind of weather that storm together. In year 4, we made a big move. I believe that was year 4. Yeah, I think we talked about it last time. And so that was really healthy for us and welcomed. And I was kind of finishing up a master's program. Then we have number 4. And number 4 was born in a really cool season where we had experienced a great leap in our health and wellness. And we were able to approach having this 4th child with all of the knowledge that the first 3 had given us, with more maturity over the course of the 4 years that we had grown together. 3 years that we had grown together, 3 previous years. And so we were ready and we were stronger and we were in a better place. And we had finished some big things and completed some big things and constantly committed to each other and moving through the season. And I think, honestly, having a bunch of kids for us was very much a glue, because we were constantly challenged to sacrifice, which I think we both were doing. We were constantly challenged to continue to pursue one another, because we knew that if we didn't, we would just get bitter and resentful and angry at one another for, any reason. Honestly, there's thousands of reasons that we could have chosen to be bitter, angry, or upset with one another. So then number 4 comes, and we've got a whole slew of stories to tell you in years 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I won't get too far into that, but number 4 came, and the idea behind this pregnancy and this birth was we needed it not to be number 3. We needed a different kind of infancy experience, because it was so difficult with number 3. And up to this point, the biggest difference in any child's age was between 3 and 4, which they're about 18 months apart, which isn't a lot of time to not be pregnant, and it is not a lot of time in between the ages. So they're just right there. Number 4 is going to actually turn 7 this year. So number 4 that experience was really a good experience. She came in a really kind of fun way. She brightened our lives. She was sweetness and so cute, and she grew, and there were so many beautiful things about having number 4, both because we were in a different season of our lives. We were living in a new place. Dad had finally finished his master's program and started working as a counselor. That's me. I'm Dad. We were able to create some level of stability finally in our lives, and we were exactly where we knew we needed to be, and we had experienced so much together in the few years prior that we were kind of locked in and ready to serve, locked in and ready to adjust, locked in and ready to love each other in this next season, in this new season. It was wonderful. All of a sudden, very shortly after having number 4, Becca found out that she has this medical condition which creates blood clotting whenever she's pregnant. And so we battled with that for many years, and there was a bunch of miscarriages that occurred in between number 4 and number 5. So 5 is considered this rainbow baby, a baby that you have after you have a miscarriage. And he was the sweet, redemptive kind of arc that our story needed. After so much loss, and Becca felt every single one of these losses. Eventually, we're going to talk about miscarriage as in one of our episodes. So if that's something that you're interested in, please tune into that. But we had number 5, and it was just miraculous. Throughout the first 22 weeks of the pregnancy, Becca was terrified of losing number 5, and it was very difficult to. This kind of created this difficult season where Becca and I were struggling more so than normal to be on the same page, because she wanted to continue having kids. I was okay with having this fifth child. Thereafter, I really didn't want to see Becca going through what I had seen her go through over the course of our marriage up to that point. And so I was a little bit more hesitant. I wanted to protect her. I wanted to guard her. I wanted to kind of shift some of our focus for our lives. And she really wanted to keep going. She had a passion and a desire for more, to continue to be open-handed. And I appreciated that, but I also felt this pull on myself to protect her and her body and her, all of the things that I had seen her go through with the clotting. There's an ectopic pregnancy, which is a pregnancy within the wall of the uterus, maybe. So she had to have a big old procedure to remove that because it would have killed her if the baby would have stayed in that uterine wall. I think it was the wall one, not the one in the tubes. Yeah, I don't think we had one in the tubes. I could be wrong on that, but it was one of those two. I think it was the uterine wall. So we have this fifth child, right? It's a very different experience than having the first three. The fourth was just this wonderful, beautiful time. The fifth child had some ups and downs, but by that time, like it's so old hat, like we're pretty good at like teaming together and like working really hard together, supporting one another to get the rest, to get the sleep, to get the whatever we need. And it was a really wonderful transition between number 4 and finally having number 5, not between 4 and 5, but after we're able to have number 5. This week has been the most wonderful, cheerful, beautiful transition of a child into our family that we've ever had. Not only did Becca's C-section go well, not only did her pain get really well managed throughout it, not only did we have a good team of support, mostly the nurses. We had one especially wonderful nurse and one especially wonderful lactation consultant who actually taught us a lot, which was kind of funny because we had, this was number 6 and we had plenty more to learn. So who knew that we had more to learn, which was super helpful. And we've been using a lot of that. And little baby girl number 6 is doing really well. She's healthy. The doctor that did our C-section was phenomenal and efficient and very quick. We were in and out very, very quickly and obviously knew what she was doing. So all these blessings, all these wonderful answers to prayer, all of these kind of awesome kind of experiences of bringing this into our lives, this new child. And it just makes me think about all of the time and the seasons that we spend grinding in this process of welcoming a child into the world. We failed so many times. We fought so many times. We struggled so many times. We were anxious. We were, insecure. We didn't know, how to move through these different seasons, and we didn't know how to, get from where we were to where we wanted to go. And it was just really difficult. It created a lot of difficulties having these beautiful disruptions throughout the seasons. However, having number 6, having suffered and struggled through all of those different births, and now getting to experience this beautiful birth within a teamwork setting, a beautiful birth, a beautiful disruption. She's bringing so much life and beauty and joy and fresh and innocent. There's so much of that, all of that, right? Like brought into our lives as a result of having this number 6th child. And I'm really grateful. I'm extremely grateful for her, for baby number 6. I'm extremely grateful for Rebecca and all of the sacrifices that she has put in for so many years, doing this work. and doing Jim Gaffigan has an amazing sketch on men and women's different roles that we play in bringing a child into the world. If you haven't, you should definitely check it out. I think it might be in his, the black and white one. I can't remember the name of it, but you can find it. It might be called 4 Kids or something like that. But he has this wonderful sketch on what it's like to participate in that and how much different it is for the man than it is for the woman. So I'm very proud of her. I'm very grateful for her. I'm very impressed that we have been able as a marriage to strengthen our teamwork, to strengthen ourselves up into a point where we've got a flow. We've got kind of the seamless flow of service and acknowledging needs and fulfilling needs and balancing needs. Early on in this process, in years 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, there's really a struggle to learn to sacrifice and to learn to love each other well. And all of the times that we were frustrated or upset or felt wronged, all of those times that could have built up bitterness, we were able to combat a lot of that by staying connected, by communicating, by conflicting regularly, by dating and dating often, so that our connection remains despite all of these little disruptions that have come through our season of life so far. So we're very grateful. We're very grateful and thankful for where we are. We're grateful for each other. At least I am extremely grateful for her. We're grateful for these beautiful people that are growing up in our house. And we're really excited to see how God leads them in their lives, how they grow and change and learn and develop, and then how they start their own families, that they would do some of this work, that they would lean in on their spouses, that they would find incredible spouses, and that they would continue to learn and grow and change themselves. Obviously, they don't get to any shortcuts. They don't get to just have this kind of sixth birth experience that we had right away. We can't do that for them. But we are attempting to blaze a trail to give them the tools for marriage and to give them the tools for their future that they're going to need in order to find success. And some of them will, and hopefully all of them will. So yeah, I wanted to talk today a little bit about, doing the intro at the end, I wanted to talk a little bit about just welcoming these kids into our lives. What a challenge it's been, what a blessing it's been. We're very grateful. We're very thankful for all of these experiences that we've had. So if you want to reach out to us, if you want to send in a question or ask us how we're doing, or let us know any of your stories, we would love to share those on the pod if you're comfortable with those being shared. If you have any questions, or if you guys are in a season of suffering or struggling with bringing children into the world and you would like an outside perspective, you can feel free to ask those questions. We have an email at marriageisthebest@yahoo.com. I do believe it's in the show notes. You can also feel free to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast and a 5-star on Spotify. We're trying to figure out YouTube. I think I did it. Yeah, I did say that I did it wrong last time. So I'm still figuring out like tags and stuff like that. We'll see. I don't know if it'll work. But if you want to go on the YouTube, I do believe I linked the show. So if you could subscribe over there too, all of those things will just kind of help other people find this podcast. And we really appreciate you doing that little bit. You could also tell, people who may be in a hard season or that you think might benefit from it. You could also share that with them as well. So we thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you. We hope that you're having an incredible March this year. And I should just cut all this out. This is just fluffer. All right. Fluffer ended. This is the end.